Today on the show, we're going to talk about the Borderlands series. If you didn't know that the games run in a modified version of the Unreal Engine, then this show is for you. So Borderlands, a role-playing FPS game developed by Gearbox Software that would first be revealed in Game Informer magazine in September of 2007. There was a lot of concept art thrown around for this game, but in the end it ultimately came down to deciding if they wanted to go in the cel-shaded direction or the realistic direction. They made the right choice and went with the cel-shaded direction. This being said, there was already a version of the game that had already been started on to look realistic. The sudden change in artistic direction angered the director so much to the point that she quit. Borderlands is unique because it combines fantasy RPG traits and puts them in an FPS environment, and it shouldn't work, but it works very, very well. To start the game, there are 4 characters the player can choose from, and these characters act as your class. These characters are the Siren, the Berserker, the Hunter, and the Soldier. Obviously, each one of these characters have their own unique abilities and traits. For example, the Siren can go into an alternate dimension for a few seconds, which basically makes her invisible. When she reappears, she emits a shockwave, whereas the Berserker likes to use his fists and explosives. Now, I won't be getting too much into the storyline of Borderlands, but I will give you the setting. It's set in the distant future on a planet called Pandora that people began to colonize when they realized it was filled with valuable minerals. It seems that in this future, it's corporations that govern whole planets, which is a really scary thing to think about because it seems like our planet is headed in that direction. The game would be released in October of 2009 and it would be very, very well received. Its RPG elements would be heavily praised, but its paper-thin story would be heavily criticized. This being said, the game would go on to be runner-up for Game of the Year, losing behind Demon's Souls, and it has sold over 4.5 million copies worldwide. ItsSuperEffective! Moving on to September 2012, and Borderlands 2 would be released, and it did something that most games don't do. It was better than the original. The game would be announced in August of 2011 at Gamescom, and once again would run on a modified version of the Unreal Engine. Prior to the game's release, there was a couple of sexism accusations towards the game's creators, but after a couple of replies on Twitter, the whole thing was just dropped. Once again, the game started with 4 default characters. However, this time you could buy 2 more characters. The original 4 characters for this game were the Commando, the Siren, the Gunzerker, and Assassin. And the 2 downloadable characters were the Psycho and, my favourite, the Necromancer. As for the setting of Borderlands 2, well, we're still on Pandora, but 5 years have passed since the first game, and the ending of the first game resulted in iridium flourishing all over Pandora. A man named Handsome Jack, who is the leader of the Hyperion Corporation, takes control over a lot of the iridium, and it's his plan to use it to civilize Pandora. He rules over the planet with an iron fist and keeps constant watch from his satellite, and is generally just not a good person. There have been a number of DLC packs for both Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, which I won't be getting too much into, but what you need to remember is that Borderlands 2 has had 2 seasons of DLC packs, and one of them even increases the level cap from 61 to 72. Borderlands 2 would go on to do better than its predecessor in terms of sales and reviews. It was heavily praised for its use of RPG elements, characterization, and world building, but a lot of people really felt like the character customization was a little bit meaningless. The game would go on to win a number of awards, including but not limited to Best Shooter and Best Character of the Year. There is a Borderlands comic, but I haven't read it, so I don't really think I'm qualified to talk about it. And also, Gearbox have stated they know if they did a Borderlands 3 where it would go, but they haven't done any work on it. Currently, Telltale Games is working on a game called Tales from the Borderlands that has creative input from Gearbox, and it's going to be more point and click and less FPS, which I really like, but don't quote me on that because I could be wrong. Also, there is a PS Vita version of Borderlands 2 in the works, which I am very excited about. It's super effective! Okay guys, that is it for today. If you think I missed anything about Borderlands, please let me know in the comments down below. And also don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more history. My name is Faust, this has been Exploring Video Games, and it is super effective.